Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the big bot ban in which Valve has announced, and with approximately around 960,000 bots being banned, that's going to have a massive impact on the market, the active drop, and certain things. So we're definitely going to have a little delve into this. With 960,000 bots being banned, done the quick maths, 5 active dropped items, wall cases, and then everything else. On the upper end, on the ceiling, I would say there's approximately around 192,000 potential losses in each one of these active drop items. So there's Dead Hand Terminal, Kilowatt, Revolution, Dreams and Nightmares, and Sealed Genesis. That's just 960,000 divided by 5, and that's on the ceiling of it. That is going to have big implications on the price of cases because supply is not growing as much as they hoped it, and potentially will stabilize in the prices. And thus demand, it's not really, and the market will find a new equilibrium price where supply equals demand, and we should see some movement in some of these cases and these terminals, in which we'll have a further look into. So yeah, let's move into it. So the first few things that I'm going to look over are the terminals. Not the biggest of fans of terminals. I feel like it's a bit of a kind of scandalous scheme that Valve have got going on, that players have to buy from this terminal at such a price in which it's meant to be reflective of the market, but that's whole shenanigans. This is the original terminal, the Sealed Genesis, which was released 2025 September, and in the past month, actually, this has seen a decrease. Even after the 25th, 26th, it did see initial spikes up to 33p per, and now has seen a retracement back to around 23, so which is actually lower. This may have been a combination of speculation with regards to terminals and people buying terminals when the latest Dead Hand terminal came out, and they thought it would be a good investment, and it's just hasn't really stood its floor of 0.25, so it's now going down to 2.3. We are seeing larger quantities being sold in the market, so it was starting off like 10,000s, and it looks like some people are starting to hoard them, but it's the amount of quantity being sold. But this does look like a big sell-off of the first terminal, the Sealed Genesis, and then that will lead me on to the next terminal, the Dead Hand terminal. This is a more recent one. Prices for skins and valuations really haven't been, they have been reflective of the market because it has been out for nearly a month and a half, and the skins are really nice. I really do like the kind of characterization of the skins that have been put into this. The Queen's Gambit, fully tuned. Some of these, I like the Galligator. That's a really cool one. Crane Flight's a really good AK skin. Definitely a really cool collection of skins. Though in the month's time, same kind of process. Even though this came out on March 11th, you can assume the bots were still around, still farming for approximately nearly up to 2 weeks of these Dead Hand terminals, which definitely would increase the supply. Not entirely sure if they're trade banned or whether they've muled the cases of the terminals over to a main account, and whether they're trade banned, and like whether it's actually just bots that play the game and get the cases, or whether it's like any alliances or allegiances, such as like new accounts that actually hold all the cases and stuff like that. But on the 26th, we did see a little spike back up, £5, £6 back up to, but over the past month, it's looking diabolical. I think terminals, it's really hard to kind of put a price on with regards to like, oh, you can opt to choose one of the skins out of the 5, but you still have to pay such a premium to get the skin. Like some people may just prefer just going straight to the market because it saves them opening £3-4 worth constantly until they're like £100 deep, and they're like, oh, I could have literally just bought a Crane Flight straight off the bat. But hey, maybe it's the authenticity sticker, the first owner sticker that people may be holding on to, but hey, each their own. So that's the 2 terminals done. Moving on, we're going to move on to our first case, Revolution case, released in February 9th, 2023. Just this case has been around for 3 years now. And we're seeing the opening rates in the past month, day, and week increasing significantly. Very cheap case, very good entry point to enter into if you're looking to get into cases, though this is not financial advice. This is probably bottom of the barrel, the cheapest one out of them all as of. And it's currently sitting at 50 cents, which is around 35p-ish. And so looking at the movement from the 26th, we can see it was around 40 cents. News came in, there's a big bot ban, and people jumped on the bandwagon, and it almost went up around 20%, and did gradually start seeing some price action back up to around 60 cents and then back down. I don't know if that's speculation of new bots coming back in. We don't actually know how long the bots will be kind of held off for and how long it will take Valve, or whether they've put any like extra measures to stop them from making a new account or detecting them earlier. But that'll be kind of reflected in the market, and we'll see like different types of volume, maybe supply decreasing, and seeing how long, whether it's kind of sustainable. Well, whether the price is sustainable or whether the price will stagnate around this price. If we start seeing price movement up, we might see it might kind of tell us the tale of, oh, the bots haven't really been able to get going again, which is, hey, power to the people. Thank you, Valve. But like looking at the case number openings, you can see significantly dropped in February and January, though this is not due to the announcement of the news. This is kind of lagged. So yeah, we see 15% of the case total number of cases being opened, and we are still seeing unboxing numbers being around 6%, which is quite significant. There's a significant portion of the cases of the total supply being opened constantly. And yeah, we could see some good upward movement on this case. The notable skins in this is definitely the Headshot, the Timaku, Duality, Wild Child, stuff like the Umbra. You got the Umbra Rabbit, Sakaku, the Wicked Stick. So not bad, not bad. And that leads me on to my favorite case, if not the best case of all time. No, not really. But anyway, the Dreams and Nightmares case came out on January 20th, 2022. It's been 4 years. There's speculation. Hey, there's something in the water that's telling me, hey, this might be seeing its way out someday soon. But as you can see, I think this is actually just bugged and it's not showing me the actual numbers. But we can see in the 30 days, it's gone up by nearly 6%. Daily sales up. Over the 30 days, it's decreased. So people might be holding on to this. The amount of market listings has gone up, which is interesting, though. The amount of market listings now is no longer at this. So March 26th. I did see some movement before, which is interesting. So March 26th, it's at 1.9 and is now gone up to 2.33, but has dipped to 2.13. And we have seen a gradual increase in market listings, as you can see, 7 days, 30 days. And these are going to be kind of concluded at these prices instead, exercised at these prices. So that's actually a good sign. Looking at it on the Steam market, it has dropped back to £1.57, and this was the starting 1.40, so it's still around a 20% increase. Though looking at the volume of sell orders and buy orders, we have got only 12,000 under 1.75, and that's that price. We're seeing around, I believe every hour, maybe 10,000 sold. So we could see some movement in this case again. As you can see, the general trend, it kind of goes up, bounces up and down within like 10% variance between each price. Goes back down, starts bumping up again. Then there was a massive dip, goes back up, bumping. So fairly volatile case, I would say, at the moment over the span of the month. Does have really good skins. Always a fan. The Nightwish, Starlight Protector, Melodrama, stuff like that. Actually, talking about the Nightwish, I actually thought there may have been some kind of leak over of the prices of the bots being banned and the prices of the skins in the case, but actually no movement at all. Almost stagnant and has fluctuated around the same price. So the 26,134, exactly the same price, and that goes for the minimal wear and the factory new. This is minimal wear, so definitely hasn't seen any price movement due to the bots being banned. But yeah, looking at the casing unboxing numbers, we're actually looking at some decent percentages here. We're still seeing supposedly 15% in February of the total cases being unboxed, and still being boxed at an 8%. Not bad. The number of percentage of total cases is quite significant. So, and at the price it is now, it's a very popular case. Will we get back to our highs in 2025, where it double topped and then started going back down? We look like we're doing some cool trajectory, but not financial advice, as I said. So definitely make your own kind of grounded decision on where you are going to buy into. If it's cases, if it's not cases, if it's stickers, anything else like that, definitely worthwhile having a look into. But yeah, we've seen some good price movement. We've seen, I would say, it's still up by about 10%. At the peak of it all was around 20, nearly 30%. Being the Steam tax, that's a win in my eyes. And that now leads me on to the final case, the Kilowatt. Kilowatt is another cheap case. I guess it's still a very recent brand new case. It has some cool skins in it. I do like the Jawbreaker. I actually use the Jawbreaker a lot myself, but a lot of the others, I'm not entirely sure. Black Lotus Olympus is pretty cool. Chrome Cannon is alright, but like, it does consist of the Kukri knife. Not a very popular knife within the market, but each their own. It doesn't also help with the introduction of the coverts being able to trade up to knives. Like, it is what it is, some people have their own tastes, but like looking into the market movement for this case, 26th of March, 24p did generally kind of have the same kind of volatile movement as all the other cases that we've seen, and has now come down to around 30p. So it still is around 30%. This is actually quite insane, because 2.4, yeah, let's say 20%, like a 25% increase since the bot ban. Not bad. We can see the amount of sell orders here as well. So below 40p, we're looking at 225,000 to be sold when there's being maybe 5,000, 6,000 sold every hour. So I can't imagine it to blow up within the next couple of months. But, over grand scheme of time, this might slowly diminish and we can see potentially some gains in this. But yeah, that actually rounds up my video. If you did enjoy the video, please like and subscribe. I will be doing another one hopefully soon. I'm sorry I've been away. I am doing a 1,000 subscriber giveaway. It will be of a Austin Major NRG Holo sticker, in which I unbox myself. So please do like and subscribe, and hopefully I will catch you guys on the next one. Also, leave a comment if you believe what your perceptions are and how you believe the market will move, or what will happen with these bot bans and whether they'll come back sooner rather than later. Because it's all up in the air at the moment. So it would be nice to see what other people's verdicts are and how they're kind of observing what's happening. But yeah, power to the people. I'll catch you guys soon. Thank you very much for tuning in, and goodbye.